Hey
All
everybody,
right.
welcome back to Alpha Bizarre Radio. This is episode three, or we had episode two and a half last week where we were recording a 5 minute pitch for one of the accelerators that we're in. And so today, I think we're going to start off by giving a quick update on where the product is. John's going to walk us through that, and then the next thing that we're going to talk about, and probably we'll wrap it up there, do a quick one today, is kind of the state of investing in America right now. All these different agencies are set up to protect us, but are they actually protecting us? So, John, why don't you give us a quick update on like where we are with the product and what our roadmap looks like?
Yeah, we are, for all my developer friends out there, we are at the finish line, and the finish line always keeps moving forward, per usual. But we're really close. We're building a lot of cool stuff. We've been talking to people. One of the things we got as feedback from people was that they wanted to be more interactive, more engagement. So we've added a comment section on signals. We've also added the ability to like and dislike both a signal and a comment so that people can interact with each other. Like, hey, Elon's a twerp. I love Elon. He's going to take us all the way to the moon, like whatever. Just let people sort of interact. Or maybe it's more like actual analysis of like, dude, that's a good idea. I do like that. And here's why, blah, blah, blah. So we added that recently. Another thing that we're working on is referral codes. We want you guys to be able to help us spread the word and get something in exchange. So we are looking at waiving subscription fees for 1 month per sign up for people who have people use their link. And then if you use someone else's link to sign up, you will get 3 months of free subscription. And now you will have your own link to hopefully get your friends to sign up. So that's what we want everyone to be signing up. Free subscription fees, no subscription, waive subscription fees if you use these links. So yes, we've been working on these things. We've also been fixing a few bugs here and there. As you do as you're working on these sorts of things. Yeah, I think those are the highlights of what we've been working on lately. The app is so close. Everything is so close. We're hoping to have it out the door next week, and to you. But I would say we're in a beta, especially on the desktop site. So if you want to join private alpha, if you're here, you're listening, you get early access. Private alpha, one word, will get you past the login screen. So please do it. We would love to have you on there. And we want to build this with people. So we've been trying to find people who want to use it. And we really want your feedback. If you're using it, if you like things, love it. If you things you wish were different, let us know. Yeah, that's what I had to say about that. So Colin, are we gonna move it over to the
Yeah, thanks, John. Let's Mike, I feel like you've got the most experience in finance. You worked in PE, have some background in hedge funds. That's how you kind of came up with this idea. So like what do you think about access to the financial industry in the US and all these basically how does an everyday person access these strategies right now?
Yeah, I think it's a powerful question. There are a lot of tropes and kind of a lot of, throwaway comments that folks make. Make your money work for you, start investing early, retire by whatever, by, starting to invest in your 20s. That always requires money. Moreover, if you're looking to invest in a fund, you have to be an accredited investor.
which also
For the
requires
listeners,
money. Sorry.
right. That requires even more money. Look up those requirements. They're pretty insane. If you want to work with an investment advisor, again, requires money. So all of these paths to become more financially educated and really learn from experts or invest your money with experts takes money. And there aren't a lot of ways to explore the markets in a very pragmatic way, other than, just reading kind of Wall Street bets on Reddit, on other social media avenues. There are no good ways to really try to explore the markets and understand what trading is, how, folks make money trading, what a strategy or a comprehensive strategy actually looks like, how to design your own strategy, what type of advice folks are liable to give you when you do have money to potentially invest. None of those things are really easy to come by today. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a very hands-on learner, so just reading a bunch of stuff in a textbook doesn't necessarily do it for me. And this was one of the biggest motivations for starting Alpha Bazaar. So for us, we see this as a platform where you can explore the markets, act by basically managing a paper trading portfolio, act as though you are a participant in the markets, act as though you are putting in signals, reading about the market, making um, decisions and educated putting in educated signals based off of the things that you're picking up and analyzing
And hey, Mike,
without needing money.
can you describe what paper trading is? I've gotten that question a few times from people, and if you don't know, Mike's going to
Yeah,
tell you.
happy to. So a little background. When I obviously spent a long time developing some quantitative trading strategies, essentially algorithms that use variety of methods to pick out stocks and predict whether they're going to go up and down and trade them accordingly. When you do that, before launching a strategy like that live, you generally do two things. The first is you run a comprehensive backtest. What a backtest is you look at historical data, and depending on how much access to data you have, that can get expensive. That determines the granularity of that backtest. But you run a comprehensive backtest 10, 15, 20, 25 years, again, based off data availability, to see how your strategy would have performed over the last however many years. Once you're happy with your backtest results, backtesting is a whole thing we could probably have another episode on as far as not having look ahead bias, survivorship bias. I mean, there's a million things you could do wrong with a backtest and basically have backfit the data and have a massively inaccurate backtest.
Look,
But
it's
once you
proof.
do that, you want to launch it live. You want to test your strategy live. Some people go ahead and immediately kind of put some money behind it, but generally, what you do is you start paper trading. So you use one of these platforms like TradingView has a good platform. Webull, there are several paper trading platforms where you essentially put in your positions, and with IBKR Interactive Brokers, you can actually automate this through their API and have your script essentially send signals to IBKR and instantly like put in those trades based off of current market data. On these platforms, paper trading is not, a community event. The Alpha Bazaar in many ways has mimicked the paper trading aspect of some of these platforms, but the big difference for us, right, is we are a community. We are built on sharing the results at a minimum of these strategies and comparing performance histories. Whereas for traditional platforms, paper trading is something that just sort of sits as a tool for you to use to test a strategy before deploying it live with real capital. So yeah, that is paper trading. And Alpha Bazaar certainly has elements of that, but at our core, that is not what we are. We're a community-based platform that's looking to educate folks on the markets by giving them a gamified experience with other users in a community-based setting.
Yep. I think a crazy stat I've seen is 70% of Gen Zers are getting their financial advice, their stock tips off of social media. And there's essentially no way to fact check them, to see if they're a reliable source, to basically just know if they're full of it. And with Alpha Bazaar, you can see what they've done in the past. You can see what their performance was, see how often they've been right, and then use that to decide whether or not you want to follow their advice or someone else's.
Which, kind of riffing off of that for a second, it's a little bit concerning for us. There are, many professors who we've spoken with who are really excited about what we're building. Um, on the other hand, there are some who have mentioned, oh, I would never use social media to garner my kind of financial information. And in many ways, that shows kind of a level of detachment from the student body and from how, again, I mean, Colin just shared the statistic, but how especially younger folks or people even in our generation are using social media. And this is now a primary source for this type of financial data and financial information, and people are basing their decisions off of what they're seeing on social media. So again, it's a little bit of a concerning phenomenon we've been seeing where it's You see some professors are just sticking their head in the sand and saying, "Hey, I'm not going to pay attention to what people are doing. I'm just going to teach these somewhat antiquated methodologies and I don't really care whether or not my students follow them." Um, so if you are I would say more modernized professor and following what your students are doing, we would love to engage with you and talk through how we can, best facilitate proper social media use, since that is in many ways how the younger generations are engaging with financial information.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, John. Well, let's end it there for Ep 3, and we'll be back next week. I think with a guest to be named later, but excited to get Alpha Bizarre Radio episode 3 out there. Please let us know if you have any feedback and sign up at the website. The invite code is private alpha. Cool. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, y'all.
Yep.